Remember when I made those stupid Smash videos?
Kirby also has a lot of good aerial attacks.
I swear to God, it felt like my content was infected with this Smash virus. I mean, it got me views and such, so I'm not complaining, but it feels like most of my success came from the fact that I made those videos. Nowadays, my channel barely reaches the 50 view margin, and with the failure of my newest video, it's almost like my channel is slowly descending into the depths of mediocrity, losing everything that made the original videos good in the first place. Which reminds me of... Video games are that thing that help you escape from the desolate wasteland that is modern life, but it wasn't always this way as video games has evolved from its archaic roots. During the early 1980s, arcades were the thing. Existing as a tool for companies to steal the hard-earned money of young adolescent children, arcades found success due to its addicting nature. Transitioning into the mid-1980s, video games started to move into the homes, effectively making arcades obsolete. Now it's 2023 and video games are now better than ever, with companies releasing their functioning, cheap, graphically impressive titles by the minute. This has caused modern gamers to compare the games of the now to the games of before, especially considering the lack of updates old games get compared to the newer ones. But what exactly are old games? Yeah, I know it sounds self-explanatory, but what exactly makes a game considered old? So I looked around on the interwebs, but I couldn't really find a common consensus. Mario Odyssey can be considered old because it came out 5 fucking years ago, Jesus Christ. So for this video, anything before the year 2000 is old. Well, games used to be fucking hard. Like with Contra. I can't even get past the first level due to the amount of shit the game throws at you. Maybe I'm just a video game gamer who can't game right, but is it really fair to fuck with your player this early on? And this was from a game from the 1980s. 1990 video games was way more forgiving, but that's like saying needles are better than nails. Like with Donkey Kong, you start off in this island and you think, man, this shit's gonna be easy. Then you reach the minecart level and you start wondering what type of god would allow this level of physical torture. It's like being kicked in the dick. It's a grueling experience that reminds you of the cruel, unforgiving nature of reality. With a game like Mega Man, difficulty is expected, but at least you get to pick your poison. Donkey Kong just straight up funnels it. But once you master the Donkey Kong Country Deluxe experience, you start to realize this game will never amount to shit. That's when you start jumping, rolling, beating the game with relative ease. And once you beat that fat fucking crocodile, it feels like you have reached the peak of Mount Everest. That's why I personally have an appreciation for old games as they beat you down mentally, breaking you into the shell of your former self. Once you beat the game, you become the game. What was I talking about again? Oh yeah, video game graphics. Old games can either look charming or a pixelated shitfest. Depending on what you get, it solely matters on the art direction. Like with Kirby. Kirby has this really cute art style it's going for, but the reason why it's cute is because of how simple it all is. It doesn't bombard you with a bunch of bullshit Miranda colors, it's straightforward with its style, and that's what I like about it. A common complaint I see with old games is that the movement feels like controlling a puppet with muscle dysphoria. I mean, fair enough. For me, the controls in video games can either be a hit or miss. In Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic controls like a fucking spastic. Ocarina of Time is pretty fine until it decides it wants to be a platformer. And Earthbound. Honestly, I don't really care for controls, I just learned to adapt to the gameplay. But if the music is shit... Video game music especially has to be good considering it's going to be the main thing you're going to be listening to. Old games had limited storage, making it so that music being put in the game had to actually count. But I like the little details that developers add in spite of this restriction. Like when beginning a battle in Street Fighter, the music goes like... And then when the health starts getting low, the music goes like... You know, when choosing music for my videos, I usually pick randomly from a list of older titles. Sometimes I even scroll down into the comments. I think it's nice seeing the bittersweet nostalgic messages from people who have fond memories of the game they played. But I start getting pissed when I see the same 2-paragraph manifesto about how old games used to be good, but suddenly in the year whatever the fuck, games start to become these buggy rust products that are only made for the idea of money. I'm sorry, but if you believe that the companies of yesteryear never rushed their titles to make a quick buck, then you're fucking delusional. In 1982, Atari released their critical masterpiece, E.T. In fact, it was so good, they decided to bury the game in a New Mexico landfill. Do people really think that old games were these masterpieces that can't be criticized? The original Zelda needs a map in order to understand its cryptic bullshit. Donkey Kong is a colossal collectathon, and Earthbound, it's almost like people's nostalgia from playing these games as a kid has created a bias which in tandem has created a dislike for modern ones. But what would I know? Like, at least developers in the olden days would never release a crappy underdeveloped product for the sole reason of making money. Right? Super Smash Bros. Melee was made for the Nintendo GameCube in just 13 months. Sonic Adventure took 10 fucking months. That's like under a year. That includes 6 campaigns, a fishing minigame, and Supersonic. The sad truth about video games is that they're ultimately made to make money. Game companies has always been in a tug of war with time. Nowadays, it seems that game developers are winning the war, with games like Cyberpunk being evidence. It's like more and more games are being rushed and released for the public to enjoy. It's gotten so normalized that gamers are now congratulating a game for doing the bare fucking minimum. But even then, I believe that games will eventually get better. It's easy to say that games are gonna die in the next few years, but I don't see that being the case. Like with the crash of video games in the early 1980s, I feel like from the remains of the modern video game landscape will rise a new era of video games. So what's the moral of the story here, folks? Well, video game gamers are stupid and dumb. Good night, everybody!